Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you've ever felt totally overwhelmed staring at a massive, boring grid of French verb conjugations, you are in the exact right place. Today, we're skipping the dense textbook grammar. Instead, we're going to unlock some intuitive, real-world French conversational hacks using some really fun visual retention strategies. This cartoon-style lesson, it's basically going to change how you approach French fluency forever.
We're going to gamify your learning today by moving through 5 crucial levels. First, feel the situational vibe. Second, the conversational scaffolding hack. Third, shifting tenses with weather. Fourth, mastering dates and numbers. And finally, real-world boss battles. Let's get into it.
Level 1. Feel the situational vibe.
This first level is foundational, and it's all about shattering that instinct to literally translate every single word in your head before you speak. As the instructor points out, feel the vibe and tell me, not translate word for word. Mastering a language actually means understanding the situational energy, not just reciting dictionary definitions. If you get stuck trying to find the exact English equivalent of a French phrase, you're literally just going to constantly trip over your own words.
Here's a perfect example of why vibes matter way more than literal definitions. Both bonsoir and bonne soirée technically translate to good evening, but in practice, completely different situational vibes. You don't say bonsoir when you're leaving a party just because it means good evening, right? You say bonsoir when you're entering a room at night as a greeting. You say bonne soirée when you're leaving someone for the evening to wish them a good rest of the night. It's all about the action, not the translation.
Level 2. The conversational scaffolding hack.
This is our biggest structural secret of the day, and honestly, my personal favorite conversational shortcut. Here's the deal. When someone asks you a question in French, they're actually handing you about 90% of the building blocks you need for your answer. Instead of panicking and trying to invent a sentence completely from scratch, you can physically build your answer using the exact pieces they just handed to you. It's called conversational scaffolding.
Let's see this trick in action. Step 1. Someone asks, "À quelle heure va se terminer ta journée de travail?" Which means, what time will your workday end? Step 2. Don't freeze. Just grab the vocabulary they literally just gave you. Journée de travail and va se terminer. Step 3. Recycle and rearrange. Watch how the words physically move here. You just swap ta for ma, pull the exact same phrasing down, and plug your time in at the end. Ma journée de travail va se terminer à 17 heures. Boom! You instantly sound like a native, all by scaffolding on their words.
Level 3. Shifting tenses with weather.
For this level, we're going to intuitively hack past, present, and future verb tenses by using something everyone talks about, the forecast. By visualizing weather on a timeline, you automatically map the past compound, the present forecast, and the future tense, all without staring at some complex conjugation chart. So yesterday, hier, we used the past. Il a fait beau, it was nice, or il a venté, it was windy. Today, aujourd'hui, it's the present forecast. On annonce de la neige, they are announcing snow. And tomorrow, demain, it's the future. Il va pleuvoir, it's going to rain. You just map the verb to the natural timeline of the week. Easy, right?
Now, what if the forecast is completely wrong and you need to make it negative? Well, we use the vowel collision hack. When predicting the weather, remember the golden rule of French flow. If a negative ne hits a vowel, like in the word annonce, you absolutely can't say ne annonce. It's way too clunky, and the French language absolutely despises clunky sounds. So you just chop off the e, add an apostrophe, and combine them so it sounds incredibly smooth. No, on n'annonce pas de neige.
Level 4. Mastering dates and numbers. It's time for a rapid-fire flashcard drill. Because, let's face it, doing French language math on the fly requires some serious reflexes. But before we hit the big numbers, keep these 3 date and time quirks in your back pocket so you never sound robotic. First, for the first day of the month, always use le premier, like le premier septembre. But for literally every other date, just use the cardinal number, like le 31 juillet. Finally, if it's 12 o'clock, never ever say 12 heures. Always use midi for noon or minuit for midnight.
All right, let's flex those mental muscles. How do you say 163? Say it with me quickly. 163.
Next one up, 444. This one actually has a really great rhythm to it. 444. Perfectly repetitive, it just rolls right off the tongue.
And now for the final boss of the number flashcards, stringing the math together for a year. 1994. In French, you literally have to say 1900 14 14. 1994. If you can do that mental gymnastics fluidly, you are golden for sure.
Level 5. Real-world boss battles.
You've got the hacks, you understand the vibes, and you have the vocabulary. So let's throw you into some real-world communication practice scenarios to put it all together. Scenario 1. You are at a bustling Parisian cafe, you've just walked in, and the waiter is looking right at you. How do you order a drink?
You have some really great options here. You can confidently drop "Je voudrais un verre de vin." I would like a glass of wine. Or you can flex your conditional verbs with "je prendrai." I would take, for that extra polite native flair. Either way, you're totally commanding the situation.
Okay, next scenario. You've traveled to a new city, walked up to the reception desk, and man, you're tired. You just want to get to your room. What do you tell the clerk?
Boom, a perfect scaffolding sequence. First, state the vibe. Bonjour, j'ai une réservation. Hello, I have a reservation. Then, politely ask for the keys. Est-ce que je peux avoir mes clés? And, if it's a modern hotel, you can just swap clés for carte, like a key card.
Finally, the highest stakes scenario of them all. You are in a job interview, and the employer asks you to talk about your professional background. This is exactly where your verb tenses matter. Using the imperfect tense j'étais, I was, rather than the present je suis, instantly signals that you're reflecting on your robust past experience. J'étais un directeur dans une compagnie d'informatique shows you know how to navigate your professional history cleanly and confidently.
And what if that interviewer fires off a bunch of have you ever questions? Well, you don't need to overthink it. Just use this incredibly handy framework. For any affirmative answer, plug the verb into oui, j'ai déjà. Yes, I have already. For any negative answer, plug it into non, je n'ai jamais. No, I have never. Have you worked in a restaurant? Oui, j'ai déjà travaillé. Have you been on TV? Non, je n'ai jamais passé à la télévision. It's basically a plug-and-play formula that takes the stress completely out of answering.
So what you should take away from this explainer is that language learning really doesn't have to be a giant wall of text. Once you master the situational vibes and rely on simple structural hacks like conversational scaffolding, the entire French language just unlocks before your eyes. You stop translating and you start actually communicating. So I'll leave you with this. The next time you hear a question in French, are you going to freeze up or are you going to recycle their words and scaffold your way to fluency?